Hello, hello. Back again. Let me make sure. Looks like the volume's working, the camera's working. Technology seems to be working, although I've been struggling in the last 5 minutes. Here I am for another week of doing some coaching live with you. So, warm welcome to you, even if you're watching the recording. Everybody's comments are welcome. This is a fun interactive live. This is a way for me to bring forward a question, a real life question, and kind of coach around it with you. Engagement is welcome. I love it when you comment and chat and give me a thumbs up or whatever. I'm streaming this on multiple platforms, so it's kind of different depending on which one. But today's topic, if you can't see it in the intro or the title, today's topic is how to deal with mean, negative people. Have you ever dealt with a mean, negative person? Have you ever dealt with anyone mean? Have you ever dealt with anyone that's kind of negative? I think we all have. And again, I like to bring topics to this forum that are very common. Hi, Charlie. Thank you for letting me know that you're watching. Apparently it's working. This is a topic that's really common right now as we're kind of in that sandwich of the holidays, right? In between Christmas and New Year's, mean negative people seem to be something that's kind of familiar, common. There's a lot of pressures, right? A lot of things going on, a lot of people struggling, a lot of people are challenged right now. I get it. Me too. I think we're all in that boat to some level or another. And if you're struggling, if you're having a challenge right now, you're worried about money or finances or whatever, my heart goes out to you and hang in there. All right. So I like to start off with a quote. If you've worked with me or been around me much, you know that I love quotes. So let's go ahead and start. People behave in accordance with what they believe is the correct way to act. They do not intentionally act inappropriately. They simply are unaware or lack knowledge about what they are doing. Take compassion and empathy when observing their actions. So it's a rather long quote. I don't know who to give credit to. If there is someone I can give credit to, I always will. But what I would like to add to this quote is I know it can feel like in the moment that a person's words or maybe a person's actions have some sort of meaning behind them. I know it can feel personal. It appears that they're causing you to feel a certain way, but it's simply not true. It's not possible. So I'll go into that a little bit deeper. But if you're watching, let me know one word to describe how you feel right now. Maybe not about this topic, just about today, how you're feeling live in this moment. For me, I'm very much at peace. So, peace would probably be my one word. Feel free to share in the chat what word comes up for you. Yeah, we haven't actually celebrated Christmas. We're celebrating it tomorrow. We had it set for Friday and then it got postponed again till tomorrow. So we're kind of doing New Year's / Christmas. But it's very low key. In fact, I had suggested a month ago, let's not do presents at all. But I got downvoted on that. It wasn't a popular vote, which I was kind of surprised. I thought, well, everybody's, on a budget this year and just I kind of thought that it would be well received and it wasn't. So I was like, well, shucks, I almost got out of that. Anyways, so let me know what word comes up for you, whether you're watching this live or on the recording. And also, if you're willing to share where you're chiming in from, I always find it fascinating to see where people might be watching this from. A city, a state, a country, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. For me, I'm in Spokane, Washington. It's 34 degrees right now, so it's above freezing. Yesterday, I saw it was 40 degrees. Felt amazing. I love it. And those of you, my friends and family in Alaska, it's 40 above, not 40 below. There's a different language when you live in Alaska. It's always either above or below. I find that to be hilarious. I used to live in Alaska for 30 years, so I have quite a few followers still from that area of the world. But I'm Coach Catherine. I call myself a happiness coach. I love working with individuals and small groups to help them define what happiness is for them. You see, at the beginning of my journey, I thought I knew what happiness was, and I was searching for it, striving for it, working hard for it, looking for it under every nook and every cranny. And I found it. And I want to save you the years of struggle, the years of searching, the years of working really hard to find it sooner than later. But I help people one-on-one or in small groups to one, define it, right? Really to actually know what it is for you. And then I work alongside you to achieve it. Coaching has changed my life in such a way that I was retired and I had, you know, endless possibilities, endless opportunities, and found that coaching was my purpose. So that's what I do. I love supporting people. I love serving people. As I was just describing this to someone, is I offer a promise, but I over deliver once you become my client. So I'm looking forward to 2024. A lot of amazing things in the works, and so hopefully you're a part of that. Anyways, I want to get started on this. I do have a couple clients back to back right after this, so I want to make sure that I'm in the right headspace for them. Again, showing up for my clients. So we're going to, well, first off, the last session I did this live on, and you could probably look back on my history. The last session I did this last week, a week ago today, was how do you somehow jumpstart yourself without motivation? So that's what we did last week. And what we discussed is motivation doesn't come from white knuckling, as I called it. So white knuckling would be forcing it, right? Forcing things to happen or gritting through it or approaching things from a have to or you must. That's really not sustainable. So as you approach this new year, if you're one to create a New Year's resolution, if you're white knuckling it, good luck to you. Truthfully, I'm also a personal trainer too, off and on. I sign up for small contracts and help gyms fill in the gaps. But what I know to be true with personal training and in my own life too is white knuckling isn't sustainable. Our mind, right? Our mind, which is just a singular word for thoughts, our mind is going to fight us. And usually about week 3, our mind will succumb us. Our mind will stop us. So anyways, that was a great video. If you get a chance, get an opportunity, scroll back, watch last week's live. It was really good. But let's break down this week's submitted question. And I find that these are really helpful in the way that maybe this isn't relatable to you. Maybe this topic is not something that you struggle with. Maybe it's not something that you're dealing with or a problem going on in your life, but there's often usually some insights or ahas as I go through this that you can relate to in your own life. And the thing is about human beings is we often don't see the spinach in our own teeth, but we can see the spinach in someone else's teeth. So that's why these are so very valuable and they hold such gold, and you can always walk away from these with a new insight, a new way of understanding people. For this today's question, I think that you can really relate to people. And they don't have to be angry people or upset people. And that's kind of where we're going with this, or mean people, but you can look at things differently. So if this again is not a scenario that you understand, that's okay. So all right, I'm going to read it out loud. It's not too long. But let me give you a good sense of where this person is coming from. People who seem to hate on you from the moment they meet you. I've had a handful of these kinds of people throughout my life. People who are just very unfriendly from almost the first conversation you ever have with them. It feels like they've formed a negative opinion about you before they've even gotten to know you, and there's nothing you can do or say that will change their opinion. Right now, I'm going through this with somebody I know. It's through a hobby, an organization that I belong to. They make lots of really mean, nasty comments that they try to frame as a joke, but they never seem to be targeted towards anybody but me. I also notice facial expressions or eye rolls out of the corner of my eye when I'm talking to them. Have you ever dealt with people like this, and how do you handle it? So, if this is you that submitted this, or maybe you're going through this or similar, um, or maybe you know somebody that's going through this, I really want to say that it's for sure unfortunate that you're being treated this way, especially in a place where, if it's a hobby or, any kind of organization that you look forward to, right? You look forward to going there. You look forward to playing or being creative or whatever this hobby gives you, like this time to, like, I think there's this space in my week that I block off that I dedicate to my hobbies as well, and I look forward to that. And to think that there's somebody there that kind of like dims the light, that's got to feel very heavy. So, and for those of you watching this live or recorded, I'd love to hear from you. What feeling words would you use to describe what you just heard? So, what feeling words would describe what you hear in this person's submission? You feel free to put it in the chat if you're brave, if you're not shy, I understand. So, the ones that I came up with is feeling not liked, not fitting in, maybe feeling different, frustrated, heavy, annoyed, maybe misunderstood. So there's a reason why I point out the feeling, right? And again, these are not the exact words that this person used in their submission, but it's kind of an overall sense of how they might feel. And if I was in a coaching session, I would definitely inquire. I was like, do you feel misunderstood? Do you feel like you don't fit in? And I might not get it right. And that's great because they're going to correct me. Or maybe I do get it right. Maybe I do hit the nail on the head and then they can tell me more. But awareness is key. We can't fix what we don't see. So if we have spinach in our teeth and we don't know it's there, we can't remove it. We have to be able to see it to fix it. What I also know to be true is that we feel really, really, really important for me in their words. Certainly, I can inquire and ask them, "Do you feel misunderstood?" Again, that's not a word that they used, but it's really important for me to ask that question to get clarity, to understand if I'm getting that correctly. So, what I know is our emotions, right? Our feelings are a result of our thoughts. It is what shapes our reality. It is what shapes what we experience. So I really want to understand what this person is experiencing, what they're thinking, what they're loading up before they go to wherever this is that they're doing their hobby. What is it, the story that you're creating in your mind? What are you believing to be true about this meanie person? Because it's really imperative to this person, I assume, that they wanna stay in this hobby, that they want to go to this place. So clarity is really important. So, where do your feelings come from? Feel free to put it in the chat. And when I say your feelings, your emotions, where do they come from? The good, the bad, the ugly, the high, the low, where do your feelings come from? Hi, Michael. Thanks for tuning in. Where do your feelings come from? All of them. You know, if you feel misunderstood or you feel different, you feel like you don't fit in, where do those feelings come from? They come from our thoughts. So when I first start working with a client, I frequently get the feedback, well, that makes sense, Catherine. Yeah, I know that. I know that. Yeah, your mind. Thank you, Michael. And knowing it logically that it comes from your mind is completely different than seeing it in real life. Again, my clients will tell me, "Oh, I can see how that might be true, but," and then they give me a bunch of other stories. So that tells me that they don't deeply understand it. They tell me, "But wait, if you know this, then, or I know that, but this person is so mean to me." That's all more thinking. That's more story creating. That's more monologue going in your head. That's a narrator in your head still making stories up. That's more thought. So a lot of my brand new clients can pass the test with an A plus. I can give them an exam of all the things that I show them, all the things that they learn in their coaching, they could get an A plus. But if you're not using it in real life, if you're not seeing it in real life, if you're not experiencing it in your real life, do you really know it? No. A teddy bear cannot inject feelings of love, safety, and security in you, nor can this person at this place that you go to for your hobby. They can't do it. They don't have that power over you. A teddy bear doesn't have that power over you, nor does this person, unless you give them that power. So if you logically know that they can inject feelings into you, a feeling, this person is, if you believe in the story that this person is injecting feelings that you are not liked, you are different, you don't fit in, you're not allowed to be here, you're all these feelings that you're manifesting. So what is, if you know that logically, what is the problem? What is the problem? So how do you handle someone that's not nice to you? Feel free to put it in the chat. So if they don't inject feelings into you, how is this a problem? And how do you handle someone that's not nice to you? So it's two questions. I mean, think about it. If they can't inject feelings into you, if you really believe it, so what's in your control? What is within your control is your own thoughts, your own feelings, and your actions, how you respond to life. Otherwise, you're giving your power away to this person, right? That's scary. And I know it seems like that. I know it seems like this person is mean. I know that this person, for whatever reason, it might seem like that. But what if you're misinterpreting it? What if it doesn't matter? You can't control what other people think of you, right? Give me a thumbs up if you agree. Another quote, again, I love quotes. Another one, and I'm going to botch this one because I didn't look it up. I didn't spend the time to look it up, but hurt people hurt people. So I don't know whose quote that is, but hurt people hurt people. And that might just be a playground quote. I don't know, but I remember that from being young, right? So what do you hear in that quote that relates to someone being mean to you? So how does that fit into this situation? You see people who are suffering in their thoughts, the people who have a poor relationship to themselves, the people that have a poor relationship to this life are suffering in their own thoughts. I used to engage, but now I write them off and keep moving. I feel so much better in life when I let people be themselves. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Horace. No one can make you feel things. Like you said, you're in control of your own feelings. Thank you, Michael. Yeah. I believe it's disheartening to witness individuals trapped in the relentless cycle of their own thinking. When they're stuck in a pattern, right? That they aren't happy with themselves and they're not happy with life. They feel very weighed down with their problems, right? They're pointing fingers everywhere, blaming everything, blaming the country, the politics, the people, the neighbor, their family, their how they were raised, or their ex-wives, their ex-husbands, blah, 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 blaming everything, right? It's disheartening. It makes it impossible for them to find peace or happiness in their lives. Their bandwidth, their mental emotional energy is so low. And when your bandwidth is super low, you can't give to anybody else. It's a painful reality to be trapped in. And there's a lot of people out there grappling with this, feeling trapped, feeling confined in their negative thinking habit. That's all it is a habit. They have this constant barrage of self-doubt and self-criticism and self-sabotage. And wouldn't that take a toll on anybody's emotional well-being? Leave them feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. So that could be the situation for this person. Do you know someone that's suffering in their own mind? That's in this habit of negative thinking and they don't know how to get out? This circle that just like a record? I feel like records are coming back. Record player. So do you know someone? Feel free to put it in the chat. Yes, no, maybe so. Give me a thumbs up. You know, a person can't be kind. A person can't be compassionate. They can't be loving. They can't be caring. They can't be supportive when they're not able to do it for themselves first. Breaking free from the grip of negative thinking requires so much strength and resilience and willingness and openness to confront this and change that habit, change that belief and that story that's ingrained in them. But it's possible. It's very, very possible, but they've got to want to. You can't fix something you can't see again, right? So if they don't know they're doing it, they don't see it as a problem. They see it as your problem. I work with a lot of clients, and this is so, so common, this whole scenario, right? And people are really confused why communication is so poor in their relationships and why there's this disconnect. And there's always a lot of questions on why the other person doesn't understand. Why don't they understand what I'm trying to say? Why don't they understand me? It's simple. We all are wired differently. We all think differently. We all have well-meaning intentions. And if you don't know that you're doing it, right? Negative or mean or whatever, if your energy is off, whatever. If you don't know you're doing it, then it's not an issue. It's not a problem. Again, they believe it's your problem. And sometimes they believe, there might be a belief that they may not be able to free themselves from being this way. They might believe that it's their bad luck. I've had clients tell me that too. It's my bad luck. It's my genetics. It's my this. It's all a bunch of thought. More stories on top of stories. And it feels normal. And I've actually had clients say, Catherine, I'm comfortable being this way. That's all I know. It's how I was raised. It's all I know. But I'm telling you, your brain is adaptable. Your brain can mold to new ways if you're willing, curious, and want to leave that comfort zone. Have you ever been told that you are a certain way and you're like, what? Blown away by it? Like, what? And that person had well-meaning intentions and just wanted you to know, hey, you're kind of a jerk. Or maybe you really overthink things. You analyze things too much. You behave in a certain way that is a turnoff. I don't know, right? And have you blown them off and you think, nah, or laugh it off or ignore it? My oldest daughter, she was probably 11 or 12. She did this to me. She told me, Mom, you think you're like a shark. If you stop swimming, you think you're going to die. I laughed, but I remember it to this day. What she was saying to me is I was very much a workaholic. I was going 24/7. I thought happiness was somewhere in that working hard. I thought that someday I'll be happy. I have to work hard for it. I had this story, all these thoughts, all these beliefs that were driving me to work harder, work longer, backbreaking work, right? But I remember her saying that. I didn't change right away. No way. In fact, I brought this up to her several times over the last 6 years, and we've had long talks about it, long discussions, and she thinks it's funny. Like, she kind of vaguely remembers saying it, but she thinks it's funny that I shared that with her and that I didn't do anything right away about it, but that it stayed in my mind. It was a seed that she planted, and again, I laughed it off initially, but it's so true. Aw, wonderful. Stay here or stay with me or come back later. Thank you for that feedback. You're amazing as well. I've worked with many clients that have been told something about their personality or their way of being that was negative, maybe in the reference of like a wet blanket. And as their coach, sometimes I bluntly have to tell people the same thing. And that's my job, to point out the spinach in their teeth so they know it's there, so that way they can overcome it. And certainly they can blow me off like I did with my daughter and brush it off. I get it. Sometimes clients become really defensive and rattle off, "Oh, I've been hurt before, and you don't understand. I have this and that," and justify and give me all kinds of proof. And that's okay. That means they're not ready to change. They're not ready to hear it. And that's okay. And that may be the way it is with somebody that you know too that's struggling or in a negative thought loop. It is important to recognize that everyone's on their own journey, and they may or may not be on a journey of towards healing and self-discovery and self-improvement, right? I wasn't until the last 10 years. Everybody's unique. Some people just don't want to change. Again, I've had clients tell me that I'm really comfortable here where I'm at. I want to stay here for a while, and that's okay. And what I do know to be true, working with a lot of clients, I just got off a call actually, and the lady was wanting a program. She wanted me to run her through a program. But here's the thing, I work with my clients intuitively and customized. Every single call is customized to them because what may work for me or may work for customer A may not work for customer X for one reason or another. It's all different. We're all different. We all think different. We've all had different experiences. We all have different education and knowledge, and we learn at different speeds. There are also some people that never want help. There are people that believe in where they are and what they're experiencing is perfectly fine, and that's okay. I like to use the analogy of, again, being a personal trainer. If I was to go out on a sidewalk, a random sidewalk with a bunch of people going to and from wherever, and I randomly point at someone and say, "Hey, you on the sidewalk, come here, come work out with me." Right? They weren't looking for a personal trainer. They're just going to lunch, right? Whatever they are. They're not one iota interested in personal training or working out at all. They're wearing jeans and high heels and a business suit on top and makeup and hair done. They're not looking for a personal trainer. They're not one bit interested in that. They're not shopping for a gym or a personal trainer, but I'm telling them, come here, come here, come here. You need to go work out with me. What this does is this creates more harm than good for that person, right? Because they're going to go in their thoughts and go, oh, what does that mean? Why did they point me out? And then they're going to have this bad experience around gyms and personal trainers because I didn't get permission. So the narrator in everybody's head is very different. And kind of going back to the submitted question, how to deal with a mean person. The narrator in their head is likely very mean, very brutal, very critical, very judgmental, and harsh. The words that we say out loud naturally is just a fraction of what's going on in that person's mind. We humans project outwards what we know and what we experience in our thoughts. Remember, we experience, we feel our thinking. We experience our life each and every moment through our thoughts. So what do you hear when I say that? Usually when I first start working with a client, they're like, no, 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 no. I feel what happens outward in. No, that's not true. You're not feeling life happening to you. It's not true. That is the illusion. That's what our culture and society wants us to believe, but that's not true. That's what we're conditioned to believe. I will show you differently. We experience our thoughts. I know that you have met someone that's charismatic, that's kind, nurturing, caring, selfless, compassionate. They offer unconditional love. They're magnetic. You're drawn to them. They have this wonderful energy, and you just want to be around them. It's alluring and it's inviting. It's warm. Those are the people that have a deep sense of self-love and self-worth. Their thoughts are deeply ingrained in how happy they are in being themselves and in their life. They wake up every morning immersed in love for life. They're happy and excited for each day. They have this profound gratitude and for every opportunity that falls into their lap. Maybe it's finding a penny on the sidewalk, heads up, tail up, whatever their beliefs are. They cherish every single moment. They find beauty in the smallest things. They find sounds. They hear sounds that the average person doesn't hear. They see things that the average person doesn't see. They smell things that the average person doesn't smell because they're conscious, they're awake, they're aware, they're alert, they're at the wheel of their life. Their heart overflows with appreciation for simple things in life, for the simplest joys that surround them. They enjoy a warm cup of coffee at a level that most people don't understand. They take a moment to go outside and feel just the gentle breeze that's naturally happening in the day. They share kind words to those people that maybe they haven't talked to in a long time. They block out time. They make time to have deep conversations with people. Their positivity radiates from within, and they're able to touch people's lives all around them. They likely inspire you, they inspire other people. They understand how their thought creates their reality. They have deep love and gratitude and appreciation, and it ripples throughout their day with everyone they come in contact with. Life is happening for them. Then there's the bitter, mean, grumpy, negative, sour puss, frustrated, angry people that have like this dark cloud hanging over them. They rant and they complain about the world. They blame people for their misfortune and they repel people. And they don't understand why no one understands them. They feel so misunderstood. They're not at the wheel of their life. They're asleep at the wheel of their life, and life is happening to them. Now I get it. There's everything in between, right? It's a sliding scale. But where do you fit in? Where do you want to fit in? The relationship you have with yourself in life is what you project outwards. It's all that this person knows in this submission, right? It's their story, it's their belief, it's their experience. It's like a record player playing in their head. Everybody's awful, everybody's mean, everybody's out to get me, everybody's out to use me, everybody's wanting my money. Whatever it is, whatever the story is, they're protecting themselves in some way and it served them in some fashion or form. So when I run into people that fit the description of this submitted request, this question that was submitted to me, have deep empathy for them. Become wildly curious about how they think. What is it like to be you? What is it like to have a life where you feel that way? What happened to you? What experiences have you had that led you to be the way you are? Look at them through the lens of compassion. They're suffering, and they likely don't even know it. With a small shift, with small changes, their life is going to look completely different. I know this to be true in my own life and so many people that I've helped. Likely, they grew up around family members and people that are bitter and mean as well. Likely, they've been hurt mentally, emotionally, and maybe physically, probably for long periods of time. And they may really have an awful life. I get it. Being a victim is terrible and awful, and no one should ever go through that. But being in victimhood is a choice. You are not your past. And when we protect ourselves and put walls up and guard ourselves, it really limits our life. It makes our world really small. So, I'd love to know from you what stood out in everything that I said. What are you taking away from this live? I also want you to know that I'm here to help and support you and whatever it is you need help and support with. I know that I've been on my journey for a long time now, and there's parts of my journey that I was alone. And that's where I found coaching to be so much help because it's somebody that's non-biased. It's someone that's not in my life. They're not near me. They won't, there's deep confidentiality. It's so nice to have a thinking partner and help process things through so I can move forward powerfully in all the different areas of my life. I support clients in all sorts of areas. So I'm here to help you, here to support you in any way possible. And you can even submit a question. You can email me, you can text me your questions, what you need, and I can do one of these, and I won't mention your name. Deep confidentiality. And the nice thing about it when I do these for you is you can listen to it over and over again. Coaching's great too because I send you notes. I email you notes on what we talk about, which gives you something to read over and over again. But here's another way to get some support from me. But anyways, thank you for chatting with me. You guys are great, amazing. Thumbs up, give me a high five, whatever platform you're on. Share this with somebody too. If you know somebody that's struggling and dealing with somebody that's at work that's negative and mean, or family member or a friend, or going through a tough time and it involves somebody else, do you think that this could be of help to them? I would appreciate it, and I'm sure they would as well. So, all right, guys, I'll see you next week. Happy New Year.